What's going on, you guys? Today is Tuesday. I believe it has been almost exactly a week since my last post, which means that I'm back on track. I might upload this tomorrow, Wednesday, and then it'll be like exactly a week, something like that. But regardless, today, what I wanted to talk about is discipline and motivation. Um, I've already recorded myself talking about discipline and motivation a few times, um, but I've never really been quite happy with how it came out or like what the things that I touched upon. So reattempting, and no matter what, I'm posting it today. Or I'm posting whatever I say this time around. Um, the reason that I wanted to talk about this is because people ask me pretty frequently about motivation, or discipline. And those are two very different things, right? So what is motivation? Motivation is like an emotion, a feeling that you have that propels you to do something because of XYZ, right? Like if something motivates you to do something, right? Like if a parent, there can be like negative consequences or positive consequences, right? Like it could be that that your mother, your father says that you're gonna get the belts or whatever if you don't do this. Well, that'll motivate you to do whatever you're supposed to do, right? um or sometimes a positive outcome, like, hey, if you do this you'll get this reward, right? And that can be motivating. Whereas discipline is, I mean, discipline, there can be positive and negative consequences, but it's all internal, right? Like it's not that you're going to actually receive some kind of reward necessarily for doing what you're supposed to do, or some actual physical punishment from an outside source. But you do it because you know that you're supposed to, and maybe in the long run you'll be rewarded. Or if you're not disciplined, maybe in the long run you will not be rewarded. Uh, so really, what people need is discipline. They don't need motivation. What they need is discipline. You need to have the ability to go into the gym or into whatever it is in your life that you're trying to become accomplished at. And you need to be able to just keep doing the things that need to be done regardless of how you feel. You know what I mean? Obviously being like ill, um or something, experiencing tragedy, like things like that obviously are excusable. I'm not saying that you need to skip your grandpa's funeral to hit the gym. You know what I mean? Like, um, and I'm not saying that if you have a 105-degree fever that you should go, you know, do whatever it is that you're trying to be good at. Those are times when you step away from whatever it is that you're doing and take care of yourself, take care of your family, things like that. But what I am saying is that if you are not feeling motivated to go to the gym, or not feeling motivated to do what the work that needs to be done, that doesn't matter. What matters is getting it done. Um, a lot of times, like, I go to the gym, like right now, it's raining outside, it's freezing cold, I'm tired, I did not sleep well last night, which is very unusual for me. Um, I honestly, if I was gonna be paid to go to the gym, or if I was gonna be paid to go home, right, and nothing else in my life would change, like this wouldn't affect anything else in my life, I would take the money to go home, right? Like this looks miserable. I'm tired. I don't necessarily I'm not feeling excited to go to the gym at this moment right now. But instead, I am going to go into the gym and I am going to do my workout because I set out to do something. You know what I mean? I set out to accomplish certain goals. And to do that, like part of the process is going to the gym today. You know what I mean? Like I have a workout that I have to do that will get me closer to my goals. Even if at the end of this workout, I'm not, nobody's going to give me a pat on the back and a high five. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? There are numbers I'm going to hit. There are sets I have to do. And that's it. You know what I mean? Now, there are things that you can do to improve motivation, like to motivate yourself within a session, right? Like you show up to the gym, you're not really feeling all that excited. You can totally, listen to your favorite music, right? Like turn on your hype songs, your hype playlists, watch whatever YouTube video gets you in the mood, gets you, excited to be in the gym. Obviously those are, I would 100% recommend doing those things. I always listen to music when I'm in the gym. If I really need something to motivate me, I watch, like clips from Dragon Ball Z or whatever, or Berserk, or I watch the Mentality powerlifting videos on YouTube, stuff like that. Like there are definitely things you can do that can help your intra-session like motivation. But in terms of getting yourself to go to the gym every day, or like 5 days a week, whatever your schedule is, it's not motivation that's what's gonna get you there. Like what you need is to be disciplined. Now, how to become disciplined, this is where it becomes a challenge, right? The challenge is that you have to do hard things, right? You can start off small. Like personally, in my experience, going to the gym has been a pretty easy one. I was a runner for 5 years, and a wrestler. I really only wrestled for 1 year fully. I competed a couple times during a second year, but mostly during that whole time, I lifted weights. I lifted weights before I started running, lifted weights before I started wrestling, and I still lift weights now, right? That super easy. It's not typically all that painful. You don't really get injured very often. You can go in by yourself. You don't have to have a coach. The bar for entry is just super low. Versus running, like running is definitely more taxing. It's exhausting. And if you want to be good, you probably have to listen to a coach, at least for a while. And, the better you get, the harder you have to go, like it can be grueling. And then wrestling is, a whole nother beast. I mean, you're pitting yourself against other people constantly, right? And you're just, you're fighting, you know what I mean? Like it's a combat sport, and it is, and I think probably the most grueling combat sport in terms of just how difficult it is, not in terms of like physical damage that you will incur, because that's typically pretty low on average, but in terms of how challenging it is, just try keeping someone in a head, or just try keeping someone in a collar tie, where you're holding, you've got like the back of their head in your hands, and then you're holding on to, their shoulder, or holding on to their arm, something like that. And just try to move someone around. You know what I mean? Like go find, you know, your best friend. You guys put your heads together, grab the back of his head, and try to move each other out of position. Like try to throw each other off. That is like the simplest thing in wrestling, right? And that is hard. Like sitting there for you know, maybe a minute, just pushing against each other. Like you're both going to be winded, you know, unless you're in really good shape. And then, you know, imagine that you are trying to get that guy onto his back, and you've got like, you know, 6 to 9 minutes, right, to do that. And the whole time he's trying to pin you, right? He's trying to get you on your back. You're just going back and forth. It's exhausting. It's terrible. You're cutting weight. You know, you haven't had water in days. You haven't had food in days. You haven't slept because you're hungry. It's just, it's something else. And to tell you the truth, like a lot of people, I don't think can even really imagine that. Like if you haven't been through something, if you haven't done something hard like that, you just don't even know what it feels like. So when people are like, oh, you know, it's so hard to get myself to go to the gym every day, it's really not that hard. Like it is, by comparison to other sports you can do, not even close. So what are some things that you can do? Well, you know, first I would say choosing something that you know is feasible. So if you're set on going to the gym, right, that's what you want to do. Going to the gym once a week to start is probably where you're gonna like find yourself being able to consistently keep up with. If you can go to the gym once a week for a month, you're doing a good job. If you can go to the gym twice a week for a month, even better. But start with whatever you can definitely handle, and don't try to make huge jumps, right? Don't go from 1 day a week to 5 days a week. If you can go to the gym once a week for a month, the second month, try going twice a week. You know, go on the internet, find out what kind of exercises you can do. Do like a full body split where you train upper and lower all in one session. Don't go too crazy. Don't try to hurt yourself. And then after, you know, your third month, going up to 3 times a week, maybe you just stay at 3 times a week indefinitely. That is a, you know, 3 times a week for someone who just is trying to be in good shape, look good, be, you know, healthy and strong. Most people don't need to go more than 3 times a week. Honestly, twice a week for a lot of people is probably enough if you're active outside of the gym, right? Like if you also have an active lifestyle, you're probably fine. 3 times a week if you are more sedentary or just want to see faster progress. 4 times a week and on, you know, now we're talking about someone who is pursuing like gym specific goals. Like maybe you're trying to be really jacked. You're trying to be a bodybuilder, you're trying to be a powerlifter, CrossFit athlete, Olympic weightlifter, stuff like that. Or maybe you're like an athlete of some kind. You know, a high school runner or high school football player, you know, whatever, college football player. And in that case, you know, of course, you can do more than 3 times a week, and you should do more than 3 times a week. But the point being, you have to ease yourself in. You can't just dive into the deep end if you're someone who does not naturally have discipline, right? And then also understand that doing, like, if you don't enjoy the gym, like if you try lifting weights, try going to the gym for, you know, 4 months, 3 or 4 months, and it just doesn't feel good, it's not fun, you don't enjoy it, you're probably never going to enjoy it. And if it's important to you to go to the gym and just be healthy and strong, then you just have to suck it up and keep doing it, right? Like you can't just stop. It's not like it's not like other things in life where if you don't like it, there's no consequences, right? If you don't enjoy, or if you don't exercise in some way, like, there are negative consequences for your life. Now maybe you can find an alternative, like maybe you like running, and that helps you reach your goals of being healthy and fit. Okay, don't go to the gym. Run and do other cardio based things that feel good. Swim, riding your bike, things like that. But regardless, no matter what it is, you're going to have to just do hard things, like, if you want to become disciplined. And it's not always going to be fun, and it's not always going to be exciting, and you're not always going to feel motivated. And also understand that not everyone is going to have that in them to do hard things all the time. Like personally, this is how I've always been. When I was a little kid, I wanted to have the school record for accelerated reader points. You know what I mean? Like in third or fourth grade, I decided that was what I was going to do. So I read all the books that I needed to read to get enough points, by taking those tests or whatever in elementary school. And I set the school record, right? And like my freshman year of high school, when I decided I was going to run track, I asked the coach for workouts, and 4 months before practice even started, I was out there, on the track, on the football field, doing the workouts, that the coach gave me, all by myself, just me, nobody else, empty field, empty track, just going out there and working out. And I set a couple records for my freshman year, a couple of freshman records that year. And people were always like, oh, you're so talented. No, I just am disciplined, and I did what needed to be done. And that's just how I am. That's how I've always been. And it's hard to tell people that. Like, it's hard to tell someone, that what their answer that they're looking for is something that you just have always had, that you just were kind of born with. Like, it's genetic. My family is that way. My mom's that way. My grandpa's that way. I'm that way. Not to say that there's nothing you can do. Like I said earlier, doing hard things will get easier. Like, if it becomes part of your routine, if it just becomes part of your lifestyle, it gets easier. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about it anymore. It's not just like, oh, this is something that I have to do today, or tag on to the end of my day. This is part of my day. This is what I do. It's not like, oh, this is my schedule, and then over here I'm adding on the gym, or I'm adding on running, or I'm adding on this and that. This is my day, and the gym is right here. Like, it is part of my day. It is part of what I do every day, or on these days, XYZ days. So, anyway, today, talking about discipline and motivation. Don't get discouraged. Like, you should try to do hard things and become disciplined, but also understand that it's not for everyone. Like, going to the gym, doing something that you like and that gets you moving and all that is more important than specifically going to the gym, right? Anyway, that's my talk about motivation versus discipline. Last week did a 495 by 5 squat. As you can see, went pretty well. I actually, since today is Tuesday, I actually already did my week 4 squat, so I did take a jump after this set, you know, that's shown on the screen right now. But I'll leave that as a surprise for next week. Then for deadlift this week, did a 525 set of 3 deadlift, which, you know, pretty easy, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home about. Hopefully hit a little PR next week, or well, this week I guess I should say. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Bench, very good, 370 single, which I'm very happy about, at like 7-ish. I'm gonna try to do like 380, 385, hopefully around at 8. Unless my coach gives me the go ahead to go up, in which case I'll probably try to like 390. But that'll probably be like at RP 9, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, share, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.